Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing something a little bit different. It's a Real Racing 3 video again, but I'm going to show you guys how to gain time at the Silverstone Grand Prix, because as you can see, the British Grand Prix is going to be coming out this weekend on Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. Sunday for some of the world. I think for America it's going to be Saturday. So I'm going to show you guys how to gain speed at different corners and different parts of the track. A very similar concept to what Nico Rosberg does with his How to Master series. That's where I got this idea from. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and comment. Tell me what I could have done better. Tell me what lap times you guys have set at the end of this. And yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so straight away you guys can see that I'm on pole position, and you know in Real Racing 3, whenever you do a cup or whenever you do these events, these 5-day events, you're never ever going to start on pole. But let's imagine that you've been doing this in the cup and you got ahead of everyone, and now you just want to set lap times. So what you're going to do is you want to stay on the left as possible, down the Hamilton straight. You want to just hug this left hand side. I mean, it doesn't really matter if you go on the grass too much, but the important thing is to keep your car on the left so you can prepare for the next two corners, Abbey and Farm coming up next. So with Abbey and Farm, you have to kind of be gentle through this corner because you don't want to turn too sharply, because that scrubs off speed. You have to be gentle coming through it. Both of these corners are flat out, so you have to keep your foot fully planted and just glide through both corners. What I would kind of recommend doing is trying to go and like hit the apex. This is more or less where you want to be before you start turning. You have to go and try to hit the apex through Abbey and then get the apex at Farm. So like this, I kind of missed the apex there, but I'm just showing you guys how it should be done. And then through Farm as well, and then here it's going to switch you out to somewhere a similar place to this. You're going to want to get all the way to the left hand side as well, so you can attack Village with as much speed as possible. So you cut all the way to the left hand side of the track here to prepare for the next corner, which is Village. You want to cut that corner as well. You want to go right over the sausage curb like this, and it's going to spit you out more or less here. So better view for you. When you're here, start turning, you want to get your right hand side wheels over that sausage curb. This is real racing, so it's not going to punish you for cutting the corner that much. And then yes, now you want to go all the way to the right hand side for the next corner, the loop. You need to, it's pretty much, you want to get to the other side of the track so that you can get as much speed when you go out of it. So as well with here, get your left hand tires over the sausage curb. And these two corners, the loop and entry, are so crucial because up next is a very long straight, the Wellington straight. So you want to come through here completely flat out and just floor the throttle all the way through the loop, all the way through entry and down the Wellington straight completely flat out. And then going down the main straight, like I said before, completely flat out. You could have a car ahead of you that's giving you some draft, as this game calls it. But what's important is you stay on the right hand side of the track, because up next you have to turn left at Brooklands. And what's important with this corner, you kind of have to just hug the inside as much as possible, and it's going to spit you out towards the right. And then for the next corner you're going to have to cut right, you're going to have to cut to the left rather. So with here you want to hug the inside as much as possible, and there's a bit of road there so you can cut that corner quite a lot. And then you want to push yourself to the left as much as possible. And now Lovefield is a pretty weird corner, because you kind of have to go deep into Lovefield at the start, and then you only really want to hit the apex like very late, when you can see about like 3/4 of the building behind. I'll show you which building now. You only really want to start hitting the apex there. So this building, when you start seeing this building, that's really when you want to turn your car in a lot and hit the apex, because it's going to give you a nice run through woodcuts, and you're just going to get a good run down towards cops. So like with here, I kind of hit the apex pretty early in this, but once you start seeing that building this much, that's when you have to start throwing the throttle. It's very early, it's earlier than you'd expect. I was honestly, it feels like you think that you're going to lose the back end of this car doing that, but you won't. I promise you won't. You just have to do it very early. And now we're coming up to Cops. Cops is a flat out corner, but it is also somewhat very intimidating. And so what you have to do is you need to stay on the left hand side of the track, because it is a right hander. So So to get as much speed, cut as much as possible, get your left hand tires on the grass and turn in. You have to turn in very assured but not rough, because if you turn in rough you're going to lose the back end and you're going to slide and lose the car. So what's important there is you just turn in nice and gentle. I personally don't like touching the curb on the inside because I feel like that's when I lose the back end and I oversteer. So I rather kind of go just through the middle in between both curbs. I don't like touching either of them because it's a bit dangerous, and also I don't want to lose the back end and crash into the wall like what Max Verstappen did after Lewis crashed into him at the start of the race.
Hamilton's going to try again, this time on the inside, a continent touch! Verstappen is out of the race and that's a big crash!
And so yeah, that's just how I go through cops. Up next, Maggots and Beckett's, so you need to get onto the right hand side because it's left first. And so once you get onto the right, you can't even see the corner properly from here, but you need to kind of go from memory that okay, it's a left then a right then a left. And so you get onto the right hand side of the track, preparing for this corner. You don't really need to go too much to the right because this corner is easy flat. You ride that curve, you ride the one on the right hand side as well, completely flat out through here, and then once you see that curve on the left, that's when you have to start braking to slow down so that you'll be able to go through Chapel quickly. Through here, completely flat out, cut the curve on Chapel and you're onto the hanger straight. So through Maggots, you don't need to go as right as I did there, but get over that curve, get over the one on the right hand side as well. And then when you start seeing this curve, that's when you have to start hitting the brakes and slowing down. And come through this corner, you can cut this curve as well. It just depends on how the car's feeling for you. Cut the corner through Chapel and you're onto that hanger straight. Completely flat out as well. You could have a car ahead of you here giving you draft, which could help increase your top speed. And then now we're on to Stowe. Stowe is a very interesting corner. I feel like it's very similar to Pujon in this game, where you kind of just tap the brakes very lightly and then you floor the throttle through it. It is also, you could lose the back end of it, so you can touch the curb. It's not really something I prefer. Sometimes I do hit it, sometimes I don't, but it's kind of like Pujon in the sense that you just tap the brake lightly and then floor the throttle. It's going to spit you all the way out onto this exit curve, and then from there you need to go all the way to the right hand side. So here, better view for you. You need to start turning in nice and early, nice and gentle, tap the brakes and then completely back on the throttle just like you would at Pujon in this game. And that is the quickest way for me to get through here and how you'll be able to find some time through Stowe. And then now we're going towards Vale, so you need to get onto the right hand side of the track here. And then Vale, like with earlier in the track at Abbey and Farm and the loop, you need to cut this sausage curve, get your left hand tires completely over it, and then towards this middle part here, this is where you're going to be flat out, and you're going to be flat out from here all the way until Village. So from here all the way through, completely flat out. You can touch the inside curve at Club there, it doesn't really matter too much, but that's the way I go around this corner. That's how I do the final frame. I cut the final corner as much as possible, get my tires over the sausage curve, and then around this point, when you're in the middle, in between both corners, that's when you need to start flooring the throttle and go completely flat through these final two corners. And that is a lap of the British Grand Prix Circuit. Alright, so that was my hot lap at Silverstone. A 1:18.0. It's not too bad. Let's see where it puts me relative to everyone else. I'm 5,000 in the world. But you know what? I'm in the top 5%, so yeah, that's not too bad. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe to see more mobile game content, and yeah, peace.